Take a ride on the wild side, baby. I'm here in Cebu City, Philippines. I am learning from the Filipinos how to drive motorbike in the Philippines. Going down the, I don't know what you call this. It's not a sidewalk. It's not a traffic lane. But we share lanes here in the Philippines. We literally share lanes, and a little bit of a tight fit here with my motorbike, but I can get through there. I'm learning from Filipinos, but I am not as extreme as many of them are. Anyway, hello and welcome to the Philippines. It's a Saturday, and I went to see two friends to check in on a couple friends. One who just moved here from the USA, living in IT Park. Tell you, the traffic was I think the worst I've seen in 7 years here in the Philippines. And I turned around, did U-turns. I tried to find different routes, but it took me over an hour to do like a 20-minute trip over to IT Park from where I live. Traffic just backed up terrible. Not sure what the deal was. Everywhere I went. And I'm going to point some things out along the way. I'm in Mandaue City right now. I left my friend's place. Gosh, almost exactly a year ago, he spent 14 days in the hospital. I spent many of those days helping out, checking in on him, staying at the hospital in his room. And here's the way we do it. We just, if you can't make a left-hand turn, you go down the road and you make a U-turn, like that guy just did. Anyway, I'll just tell you a little bit about his experience. He had an aneurysm, ended up going into the hospital for 14 days, has been kind of bedridden. Since then, he is, for many months, he didn't eat anything except liquids, lost probably 150 pounds, what, 200 kilograms, something like that. And anyway, he started eating about a month or so ago, a little over a month ago. Actually started eating some food, and is healthier, he's improving. Still bedridden basically, but he is improving. This is, I think it's F Fortuna or S Fortuna. Goes, we're going to go right down past J Center Mall, where Immigration used to be. It's not there anymore. In fact, it's closed because SM Corporation has, I guess, bought it from Gaisano, and they're going to be remodeling. And this is something I would never do before. Go use the center lane. Although, you know, in California, maybe some other states, it's legal to use the center lane, and they do it. Out on the freeways going 60, 70, 80 miles per hour. And I think last I read when I was in California, I think 1 or 2 motorcyclists die every day. Very dangerous maneuver. But here in the Philippines, generally, depends on what part of the Philippines you are, traffic is moving slower. You know, you can still have a pretty tough accident, obviously. That taller building to the left in the screen is Toyoko Inn, I guess it's called, and part of J Center Mall, connected to J Center Mall just to the left. Like I said, it's going to be closed. I heard today maybe for 7 or 8 months as they remodel the place. Immigration here in Cebu City is now in Robinson's Galleria Mall, and I think it's still on the 3rd floor. Eventually it's going to be either, I'm not sure, a ground floor or in the lower ground floor, which I would call a basement, but they call lower ground floor versus upper ground floor, I think. Traffic gets a little crazy here. We share lane lines are hardly more than suggestions here. Many people have not had any driver's training They may not have a driver's license. They may not have a registered vehicle. But it gets a little crazy if you've seen some of my other videos. And I don't normally drive in town, but I thought it's Saturday, traffic shouldn't be too bad. And I don't know what was going on. I think it's about payday. People have money, more people go out. There was some construction going on a number of places, so people were diverting off to other roads. Therefore, you got twice as much people on some other roads. But yeah, I think it's the worst traffic today. Not here. My trip over to see my two friends was the worst, and not quite as bad a couple hours later over where I am. I might put that video up a little bit later, another week or two maybe. Now, as far as driving in the Philippines, as the rules are presently, I believe that foreigners can use their foreign driver's license, and it is good for 90 days after you arrive in the Philippines. After that, you should get a Philippine driver's license. Now, about 4 or 5 years ago, they made it more difficult to get a Philippine driver's license, and took me 3, maybe the 4th attempt. I think I finally got it. I ended up getting a different type of visa that allowed me to get it. But if you're going to be here short term, they don't want to be issuing driver's licenses to people who are going to be here short term, basically. But I've also heard that it's much easier to get a driver's license out in some of the provinces. When you get out of the cities and larger towns, that's what I've heard. It is a unique experience driving in the Philippines, at least in Cebu, and I think, you know, once you get out in the province, it's a little bit different. But you've got obstacles in the road, especially at night. You've got people walking. You've got vehicles without lights. You've got animals, dogs and chickens, and who knows what else out in the road, and people out there with dark clothing on when it's dark. So it is more than a little bit of a challenge, put it that way, a little bit of a risk. There are rental cars and rental motorbikes that you can get. You can rent a motorbike maybe for 400 or 500 pesos a day. If you're going to rent it for a week or longer, you can probably negotiate some kind of a discount. Depends upon if you're in a high tourist area, high demand area. Here in Cebu City, there is a guy I know, the 301 Ramos Street Bar on Ramos Street, not very far from Fuente Osmeña Circle. I think he's got at least 3 motorbikes for rent, and I think he's got a car for rent. And if I'm not mistaken, the car rent's for about 1,500 pesos. Now that does not include insurance, so you know, you might consider that. I did a video a while back about the airport here. I think the smaller vehicles rent for about 3,200, and that includes insurance. But you should try to reserve that in advance, because it's not like in the U.S. where they've got hundreds of vehicles ready to hand out at any given time. It might take them a day or two to get that to you. Mall on the left there, I'm not positive. I think that might be, which one is it? I can't remember the name of it right now. There are a number of malls, department stores in the Philippines. Metro is one. Gaisano, there are a number of different Gaisano. In fact, I'll point out a new Gaisano mall that just opened up here very recently. Here in Cebu City. A little bit later, we're going to drive by it. There SM Mall, and I think the area we were in just back there a little ways, I think that was part of the Mandaue City public market area. Not absolutely positive, but had that feel to me. Now we're coming upon that building, tall building just to the left. That is Bai Hotel, largest hotel room-wise, over 600 rooms, I think, outside of Metro Manila. This big land area to the right, they're starting to develop a little bit of that. I think they're building some low-cost housing there, and you can see how traffic is there. That building far right is used to be, I believe, convention center. It was damaged 2013 in an earthquake and a hurricane that came through that same year. And I believe that's going to be turned into a large casino hotel resort type area in the coming year or 2 or 3. Park Mall straight ahead of us. To the left there now. An older, smaller mall, but man, it's got everything you would need almost in it. It's got a hardware store. All these malls here are unique in that they have grocery stores, almost all malls. Gadget stores, clothing stores, like I said, almost anything you need on many levels anyway. Anyway, I'm going around this block. That old convention center is just to the right of me again. I'm going around, basically driving around the convention center, then I'm going to head back to Cebu City from Mandaue City. Solid white line here to the right, that's supposed to be a bicycle lane, but in reality everybody uses it. They've taken 2 or 3 lanes and taken a big chunk of one lane, and they said this is a bicycle lane. Sometimes they put some kind of barrier up there, but you know, everybody uses it basically. I have found the hard way that I need to start and drive this motorbike at least once a week, or the battery goes dead, and then I have the task of trying to push start it, which can be a major challenge. And other people have told me the same thing. If they don't start their motorbike once a week or so, the battery starts going down. Here again, we've got traffic signals, but people don't really stop for red lights a lot of times. There's a gap in traffic, they just go the way. And there again, right to the right of us is what's called Park Mall. There are a number of bus companies. My bus is one that stops at the many malls. Will take you around, even from and to the airport, as well as all the way south to Talisay, a town still in Cebu metropolitan area, just to the south of Cebu City. Anyway, off to the right is, I believe that's Chung Hua Hospital, just barely see it there. And up here a little bit further, you've got UC Medical Center. And like I said, we share the lanes here. I am not real comfortable. I don't usually ride unless it's a Sunday or if I'm going to go out of town. Don't really ride this bike very often. Boy, I tell you, the traffic, I'm not comfortable with sharing my lane with so many people. You're almost touching knees with other motorbike riders sometimes, and you don't know what direction they're going to go. If they're on your left, you don't know if they're going to make a right-hand turn. If they're on your right, you don't know if they're going to swerve in front of you going to the left. Gets a little crazy, to say the least. If you're new to this channel, I've got over 1,000 videos up, a lot of cost of living, travel videos, condominium and real estate videos, other travel type videos as well. Try to offer some information up, videos about immigration policies, and I'm working on a number of videos right now, including real estate videos and the state of the real estate market here in Cebu City and other places, as well as immigration, different changes there, a news, and the next day or two I'll put up a news video. There are a number of things in the news I want to go over, including SIM SIM registration of your SIM and your cell phones, travel restrictions and requirements here in the Philippines. I've got plans to do some additional real estate, visit some more sites, do some more looks into, there are quite a number of new projects going up, as well as updates on older projects as well. I am using a GoPro 9 Black, and quite happy with it. All GoPros. I've had 4 different GoPros over the years, and they're all a little buggy. They can overheat. You can have different issues. They can not turn on when you want them to turn on. You got to pull the battery out to reset them. A number of different things, but extremely good image stabilization. Now this river right here we're passing, that is dividing line between Mandaue City and Cebu City. Tall building. Way in the corner to the right is hotel, I believe, called Grand Tower. Straight ahead is Radisson Blu. Building right there to the left is Bayfront Hotel. And the building right there to the left is, there again, that is Grand Tower, I believe. Now here's a very busy, one of many very busy intersections with no traffic signals. And I'm going to get up beside this Port Authority Police, and I'm going to let him block. I'll just stay beside him, let him help block. But what happens here is, it works in the Philippines. Little road rage. One side sticks their nose out a ways, and the other side stops, just like that. Lets the other side go for a while, and then vice versa. Keep trading turns. And we're going to go up beside SM Mall is just off to the left. You'll get a better view of it as we curve around here. SM Mall is adding on substantially to that mall, and I'm not sure if it's in this vacant lot over here. Some commercial buildings, I think some type of school as well, and maybe even some living quarters for some of the people who will be working in those buildings. A little case of playing chicken there. I should have I hesitated, and he was waiting for me to move one direction or the other, that bicycle, and I hesitated. I should have gone one direction, to the right or to the left, let him know. And that building to the left is SM Mall Cebu City. Now there was a mall, small older mall, strip mall kind of to the right. It burned down, I don't know, a year or so ago. I've done a video there as well during the fire. Number of stores in a little small mall-like type area just to the right as well. Now Ayala Mall up in Cebu Business Park has several condominiums there. SM Mall has one condominium basically, another one a few blocks away, older one. Sun Vida off to the left, you can't see it, and that one just to the left. I don't remember the name, but I've done a video in there as well. It just tore down a commercial building just to the left on that corner, and they're building another condominium also. This area just to the right and left of me is an area where buses, you can see a couple buses up here. Buses and jeepneys pick up and drop off passengers on both sides of the street. Those towers just to the far right there, I think that is Persimmon. I lived there and have done a couple of videos in there. Persimmon residences, condominiums. We're coming upon, on the left, we're coming upon the new mall, and it's called G Mall of Cebu. And I believe they might have a couple stores open in there, but the grocery store, they got a large grocery store down there, G standing for Gaisano, I believe. But they've got, they're continuing to build, and probably over the course of the next year, they will start filling a lot of those stores, I suppose. If you come up, there's a traffic light up here. If you would take a left for about a block or two, you would be at Robinson's Galleria Mall, the newest Robinson's Mall here in Cebu City. But I'm going to take a right, and you'll find I'm going to stop behind this traffic. You'll see motorbikes pass me on the right, and well, maybe you won't. Maybe I cut that out. There's one right there to the right. I tried to stay either far right or far left, so I don't have people passing on. I only have people passing on one side or the other. Watch my mirrors as they're coming up. But it doesn't matter how far over to the right I get, somebody will still come around on my right side. Never fails. I also try to, I've always been kind of a defensive driver. And I've taught driver education for a while, back many years. And I try to keep some distance between me and other vehicles, but it's just impossible. There's just too many people. The Philippines is a very small country with a huge population. It's about the size of Arizona, about the size of Nevada. Italy is just a little bit larger, for instance, for land area. And like Arizona has about 7 million people, I think. Drop 100 million people. Drop 100 million people into Arizona or Nevada, because Philippines has like 113 million or more in that same land area. And many years ago, with cheap credit, they made it very easy. Up 1 peso down, if you got a job, you can buy a vehicle, motorbike or car or whatever. And so you have enormous number of vehicles out here. And I think they've made a new law where unless you can prove you have a parking spot for it, because people were parking on the streets, and a lot of these narrow streets, you park a car on it, you can barely get by there with another vehicle. If I would follow this, continue to follow this road, it would take me pretty close to the downtown area, downtown Cebu City. Not exactly. I would have to turn off at some point in time, go left. And if you've been watching the traffic, you can see, in the U.S., a lot of states, if you're not staying in your lane, a policeman will pull you over for not staying in your lane. Give you a citation here. Here, I mean, it's just common. You watch these vehicles, and they're straddling the lane, and that's just the way we do it here. And they do indeed share the lanes. They will, if there's 2 lanes, they will make 3 or 4 lanes out of it. And especially the motorbikes, and not everybody, but even I've seen many taxis and other vehicles. They will make room for the motorbikes to go by on the side or through the middle of the lane. And a little tricky up here. This guy decided he wasn't quite sure. Looked like he was going to go straight, and at the last minute he decided to turn right also. And you always, this street's kind of interesting. You always have vehicles parked on one side of the road or the other. So 2 lanes turns into 1.5 lane, and people walking. So you might have 2 lanes down to 1 lane. Anyway, this is up near Ramos Public Market. We're gonna go Public Market. The cheapest place to buy stuff is Carbon Public Market downtown, but this is much more convenient. It's closer to where I live, and you can see the stands. The fruit stands are down here on the street. You go in a building behind these, and that's where most of your vegetable and your meat part of the market is. go up here to Ramos Street, and that's where the guy who rents the motorbikes and the car, he's up down that street a ways. I'll go up. I'm going to go up pretty close to that area, just past Velez Hospital. Maybe you can hear in the background that voice. I've got the background music turned, or background noise turned down quite a bit. But these Barang guys, they got some event going on. They got their speaker system. They crank that volume up, and you know, you can listen to that all day long if they've got some event going on. Got a condominium to the left there called Ramos Tower. Got apartments or condominium right there to the left. A new one's not occupied yet, not ready for occupancy right yet. 7-Eleven there to the right. Up here, ways you got ABC, just the left, ABC Hotel. Some of you stayed there. Residences, Velez Hospital and Medical Center right there to the right. And that's it